She thought I was sleeping, but I heard the door unlock at 1:40 a.m. I found him in our shower and slammed his head into the tile. She slipped trying to pull me off and cracked her shoulder on the sink. I threw his clothes out the window, changed the locks, and mailed a blood-stained towel to her mom with a note. Ask her what happened. Next morning, 45 missed calls. I had just gotten into bed after a long day. My fiancée, Tara, had said goodnight earlier and gone upstairs ahead of me. When I came in, she was already turned over, breathing softly, facing the wall. The house was silent, but something wasn't right. I don't know what made me stay awake. Maybe it was the way she didn't shift when I lay down. No sigh, no subtle response. I stayed still and watched the digital clock flick over to 1:40 a.m. Then I heard it. A soft metallic clunk. Not loud, but I recognized it. The sound of the front door lock turning. And not from the inside. We lived in a 2-story house, but the stairs creaked. I heard nothing from them. Whoever had entered was trying to move silently. I turned my head just enough to glance at Tara, still facing the wall, still unmoving. I got up carefully, stepped across the room, and cracked the door open. I didn't turn the hall light on. I didn't want whoever was downstairs to know I was up. I moved like I was on instinct, quiet, cold, calculating. From the hallway upstairs, I could see the faint blue glow from the downstairs bathroom light. Tara always left it on when guests came over. That wasn't unusual, but I heard the soft squeak of the shower knobs turning. Someone was running the water. I crept down the stairs, each step slow and controlled. My heart wasn't racing. It was quiet, steady, focused. In the living room, a pair of shoes sat by the coat rack. Men's sneakers. Not mine. The door to the guest bathroom was half closed. Through the crack, I saw movement. A shadow, followed by steam. The shower curtain shifted. I walked into the kitchen, picked up my phone from the charger, and turned on the back camera. I recorded a 5-second video of the shoes. Then the bathroom door. Just for proof. Just in case. Then I opened the utility closet. I kept a mag light in there, a thick aluminum flashlight. Not for home defense, just habit. I gripped it tight. The moment I stepped into the bathroom, the steam hit me. The curtain was closed, water splashing loudly behind it. Someone was humming inside. I didn't speak. I didn't shout. I pulled the curtain back in one motion. He turned mid-rinse, eyes wide, completely exposed. No shame, just surprise. He looked confused, like he'd walked into the wrong house by mistake. I stepped back. Didn't hit him yet. Just stared. He reached for a towel, but I grabbed it first and threw it into the hallway. Footsteps pounded down the stairs. Tara. She froze at the doorway. Hair messy, wearing only a long t-shirt. No pants. The man behind me realized what was happening. That was when he smirked. That was when I swung. The flashlight connected with the side of his head. Not hard enough to kill him. Just hard enough to send him crashing into the tile wall of the shower, where he slid down like wet laundry. He didn't even scream. He just groaned and grabbed the edge of the tub. Tara screamed and lunged forward to stop me. Slipped on the water pooling across the floor. Her shoulder hit the sink with a loud crack, and she crumpled down next to it, gasping and cursing through the pain. I stepped over her, picked up the guy's jeans, shirt, wallet, and phone, walked calmly upstairs and tossed it all out the bedroom window onto the driveway. His clothes hit the concrete like trash bags. I came back down. He was sitting up now, blood running from a small gash above his eyebrow. Tara was crying, yelling at me to stop. I looked at them both, took the towel she'd used earlier. It was stained with water, soap, and now some of his blood. I folded it carefully, didn't say a word, walked out of the bathroom, closed the door behind me, and locked it from the outside with the old hook latch we'd installed when her niece came over once. Now they were both stuck inside. He was bleeding. She was hurt. And I was calm. I sat on the stairs for a few minutes, just listening. No words, just muffled panic. I opened the front door and let the night air in. Looked down at the driveway where the guy's clothes now lay. Scattered, pathetic. A neighbor's porch light clicked on across the street. I didn't flinch. Back upstairs, I went to the closet and took out a small padded envelope I'd once used to send a birthday gift to her mom. I slid the bloodied towel inside. Then I sealed it, wrote the address from memory, and scribbled one line across a sticky note before placing it on top inside the envelope. Ask her what happened at 1:40 a.m. I left it by the front door. Next part? The locks go. The panic spreads. And the fallout begins. I didn't expect her to stop yelling that quickly. But after she slipped and hit the sink, something changed. Her voice cracked. She sat against the bathroom cabinet, holding her shoulder like it was dislocated, tears running down her cheeks. She wasn't screaming anymore, just breathing hard and watching me with this mix of rage and fear. Like she wanted to lunge, but couldn't move. Like she was more afraid I'd say something than do something. The guy was on all fours in the tub, his back to me, blood running down the white porcelain. The water still running. He hadn't said a word. No apology. No explanation. Nothing. I walked over to the sink, reached past Tara, and shut the faucet off. I left the door closed. That lock I latched from the outside. It was old, but it held. It was just a hook and eye, but I drilled it deep. I installed it myself. Funny how useful something simple can be when you stop using it for guests and start using it to keep trash inside. I walked to the front door, grabbed the envelope with the towel, and slid it into my bag. I wasn't ready to send it yet. Not until the locks were changed. The air outside felt cold against my skin, but I didn't notice. I didn't even feel my heart beating fast. I wasn't in a rage. It felt more like moving underwater. Slow. Focused. Like every decision had already been made. I got into my car, drove to the nearest 24-hour hardware store, grabbed a full lock replacement set. Front door, back door, and the sliding door in the kitchen. I paid in cash. Didn't want anything showing up on her bank app. Back home, the house was silent. Still locked up tight. I set the envelope on the table. Started with the front door. Removed the old cylinder. Replaced the deadbolt. It took me 20 minutes. Then the back door. Another 20. By the time I got to the kitchen slider, I could hear light thudding upstairs. Maybe she'd made it out of the bathroom somehow. Maybe she was trying to call someone. But she wasn't screaming anymore. I finished the last lock, then went to the bedroom. Her phone was on the dresser. Still unlocked. She hadn't thought to bring it downstairs. I opened her messages. There he was. His name was Dylan. No last name. Just Dylan and a fire emoji next to it. I clicked. They'd been texting almost every day for 2 months. Morning messages. Secret jokes. Bathroom selfies. Late night, I miss you garbage. My name came up only once, when she called me boring and predictable. Said I was too careful, too quiet, that I'd never notice. She was right about one thing. I didn't notice at first, but I noticed now. I opened his Instagram. Found out who he was. Where he worked. His profile was public. Real estate broker. Local. Smug. Lots of shirtless gym selfies. One of those types that calls himself an entrepreneur, but still lives off referral bonuses. I scrolled further. Found pictures of him at a rooftop party just last week. He had a girlfriend in the photos. Blonde. Tall. Real estate assistant, probably. Her handle was tagged. I screenshotted everything. Then I sent the screenshots from Tara's phone to mine. Deleted the sent history. Placed her phone face down on the bed. Walked into the hallway. Still no sound from the bathroom. I stood outside the door. I knocked once. Hard. Don't try the windows, I said. They're bolted. No answer. I didn't care if they were still in there. I had enough. More than enough. I pulled open the linen closet and grabbed another towel. Clean. Folded it over my shoulder. I had a plan. First, I made a new contact in my phone. Dylan's girlfriend's name was Mackenzie, according to the tags. I messaged her the screenshots. Nothing added. No caption. Just the truth in picture form. Then I texted her Dylan's license plate number. I had a shot of it from when I threw his pants out the window. I heard my phone buzz immediately after. Just one word. What? I didn't reply. Next, I went to the kitchen. Pulled out a second envelope. Identical to the first. I put another towel inside, this one clean. Then I scribbled a nearly identical note. But this time I wrote her name on it. Mackenzie. Ask him what happened at 1:40 a.m. Sealed it. Ready for delivery. Then I finally heard footsteps upstairs. The bathroom door creaked open. Tara had undone the latch somehow. Probably used something from the inside to poke it open. She limped into the hallway holding her shoulder like it was hanging loose. Her shirt was soaked. Hair sticking to her face. Dylan followed behind her, still shirtless, holding a towel around his waist like a hotel guest. There was blood still drying on his cheek, and a red streak running down his collarbone. I stood at the bottom of the stairs, watching them both. Tara spoke first. You can't just. I turned and walked into the living room. She followed. He stayed back. You can't change the locks. You can't keep our stuff. You're insane. I didn't say anything. I just reached into the bag, grabbed a plastic grocery bag, and threw it at her feet. It had her keys, wallet, and charger. Nothing else. No jewelry. No notes. Are you kidding me? She dropped to her knees and scrambled through it. I kept walking. You think this is okay? You think this is normal behavior? I opened the door, let the night air hit her face. Where's your phone? What did you do with it? Still no reply. I stepped back into the kitchen and poured myself a glass of water. She stood there, shaking, her voice dropping. Just let me get my stuff. Please. That word made me laugh once, in my head. Please. I pointed toward the street. Dylan can call a ride. You can wait on the sidewalk. She started crying. Not yelling, just crying. Quiet. Controlled. Like the situation finally hit her. She walked out. No shoes. Just socks and a wet shirt. Dylan followed behind her. Still holding that towel. He didn't say a word. I shut the door behind them. Didn't slam it. Just clicked it shut. Then I locked it. Twice. I stood there for a moment. in the quiet. And then I heard the first knock. It was light, then louder. I went to the upstairs window and looked down. They were standing together by the curb. She was holding her phone, yelling into it. The porch light was off. The neighborhood was mostly asleep, but not for long, because I had something left to do, and the fallout was only just starting. I stayed awake the rest of the night. After they walked out, I watched from the upstairs window as Tara paced the sidewalk, swiping at her phone screen with her free hand while trying to hold her shoulders still with the other. She looked like she was debating whether to scream or collapse. Dylan stood next to her in silence, looking annoyed more than anything else. His posture said it all. He wasn't there to comfort her. He wasn't angry. He wasn't apologetic. He was just cold, like he realized the situation wasn't worth the headache anymore. A rideshare showed up around 3 a.m. I saw Tara arguing with the driver before getting in. Dylan followed her in without a word. The car pulled away slowly, the red taillights vanishing around the corner. That was the last time I saw them together. Once they were gone, I went through the entire house, room by room. Anything that belonged to Tara, I gathered into a pile. Makeup, journals, gym bag, spare clothes, shoes, even the small box of photos we kept under the bed. I didn't go through the pictures. I didn't need to. I already knew every one of them was fake now. I bagged everything up, triple knotted the top, and dropped it on the porch like trash waiting for morning pickup. Then I printed the photos I had saved from her phone. Every screenshot. The ones of Dylan's shirtless selfies, the late-night messages, the next weekend plans, the selfies they sent back and forth from my living room when they thought I wasn't home. They used the guest blanket I bought for her mom's visit. They took photos in the mirror next to the art piece I painted with her during lockdown. Nothing was off limits. I printed them on full-size paper. I didn't cut corners. I placed them into a file folder and wrote her mother's name across the top. Then I pulled the blood-stained towel from the envelope I had packed earlier. It had dried by then, just a dull maroon stripe running across the corner. I slid it in next to the photos and sealed the whole folder shut. I drove across the city before sunrise. Her mother lived in a gated community outside town, the kind where porch cameras were expected and packages never stayed outside for more than a minute. I walked up to the front steps in full view of the door camera. No hoodie, no disguise. I placed the folder neatly against the door, taped a sticky note across the front. Ask her what happened at 1:40 a.m. You'll want to sit down. Then I turned and walked away. By the time I got back home, my phone had started buzzing. The first call came from a private number, then another, then Tara's, then her sister's. I didn't pick up. I muted everything and placed the phone face down on the kitchen counter. The sun was rising now, casting long shadows through the blinds. At 7:42 a.m., someone rang the doorbell. I didn't answer. I waited 5 minutes, then peeked through the peephole. It was a courier. He left an envelope wedged in the door frame. I opened it slowly. It was from Mackenzie, Dylan's girlfriend. Inside was a single page. A printed email with the subject line, "Your fiancé." There was a screenshot attached. Dylan, standing with Tara, both smiling, time-stamped exactly 2 weeks ago. The location tag showed a nearby hotel. Beneath the photo, a note. "Thanks for the evidence. He's yours now. I'm done." No signature. Just clean, sharp typing. I put the envelope in the drawer and poured myself coffee. Around 8 a.m., my phone lit up again. 45 missed calls. 10 from Tara, 12 from her mother. The rest were unknown numbers. Some were voicemails, but I didn't open them. Instead, I sat at the table and looked through the photos I printed again. I made one more copy set, printed at half size, and slid them into another padded envelope. I didn't write a note this time. Just the photos sealed tight. I addressed it to Dylan's real estate firm. Found the office listing online. Attention, brokerage manager. I figured his boss should know what kind of professional he was hiring. At 9 a.m., I drove back out and dropped it off in the building's after-hours mail slot. The office opened at 10. That gave me plenty of time to get out of the way. By the time I got back to my street, my phone vibrated again. This time it was from my best friend, Marcus. I hadn't told him yet. He was the one who introduced me to Tara 2 years ago. I picked up. "Man," he said, "what the hell did you do?" I didn't say anything. "She just posted a story saying you attacked her and threw her out. Said you locked her in the bathroom and beat up some innocent guy." I took a deep breath. She's getting lit up in the comments, though. People are asking about the photo folder. Somebody leaked the hospital records. What records? She went to urgent care. Said her shoulder's bruised and she has minor whiplash. But the guy she was with, he filed a report too. Says it was mutual conflict. I didn't reply. Marcus sighed. "Are you okay?" I said yes, then hung up. I didn't need sympathy. I just needed this to be over. But it wasn't. Because a few hours later, the footage showed up on Facebook. A neighbor across the street had a front-facing camera that caught the whole thing. Not what happened inside, but everything after. The shouting, the window toss, The guy limping shirtless into the street, the bag at Tara's feet. She had no idea that clip would go viral. It didn't take long for people to connect the dots. By noon, I had 6 new friend requests and 3 messages from strangers thanking me for exposing the cheater. I wasn't looking for validation, but I wasn't deleting it either. Then something I didn't expect happened. Tara's boss emailed me. Apparently, she had called in sick, claiming a medical emergency. Someone had forwarded him the clip. He asked for context. Said he wanted to understand if this was going to reflect poorly on the company. I didn't respond. That wasn't my problem anymore. But I knew something for sure now. This wasn't going away. Tara had picked the wrong person to betray, and this was only the beginning of her unraveling. Tara did not stay quiet for long. Around 10:30, the doorbell hammered in short, angry bursts. Through the peephole, I saw her mother first, hair still in rollers, robe tied crooked, folder I had delivered clutched in one hand like a court summons. Tara waited behind her, arm in a hospital sling, face streaked with dried mascara. A patrol car idled at the curb, light bar off. She had come armed with outrage and an officer to validate it. I opened the door just enough for the chain to hold. Before a single question left their mouths, the officer stepped forward, professional but cautious. He said there had been an assault report. I answered with 2 items. The silent phone video of the front door unlock at 1:40 a.m. and the neighbor's camera clip that showed Dylan slinking out half-naked while Tara tried to grab her scattered clothes. I spoke clearly, never raising my voice. The officer watched both files twice, then asked Tara whether she had a key in her possession when she entered. She hesitated. That pause settled the matter. He advised everyone that no further action would be taken without a warrant and suggested they leave the property. Her mother ignored him, waving the folder like a white flag stained red. She demanded to know whether I had staged the towel. I didn't reply. Instead, I placed a small cardboard box outside the threshold, every possession of Tara's that remained in the house. Her name and the date were written across the lid. The officer urged them to take the box and depart. They backed down the steps, but the spectacle was just beginning. Across the street, 2 neighbors filmed with phones. At the corner, a second car screeched to a halt. Mackenzie stepped out, eyes locked on Dylan, who was hobbling down the sidewalk after a pharmacy visit. She threw a plastic bag of antibiotics at his feet, screamed that his broker had fired him for conduct unbecoming, then tossed a printed email terminating his license. He tried to speak. She shut him up with a single sheet of paper, an invoice for half the hotel bills under his name. Cameras caught every syllable. Tara turned on Dylan, blaming him for ruining everything. He laughed, told her she cost him his job. Their argument escalated into a full-volume blame spiral that echoed off the houses. The officer stepped between them, radioed for another unit, and finally ordered everyone off the property line. Inside, my phone continued to vibrate. I watched the counter tick. 42, 43, 44, 45 missed calls, all within 90 minutes. I let each one roll to voicemail. No message mattered now. At 11:30, the brokerage manager called me directly. He thanked me for the anonymous envelope, said internal review had confirmed Dylan's misconduct with multiple clients, and offered free closing services if I ever needed real estate help. I declined politely and hung up. The next knock came from a courier, not from the chaos outside. He delivered a single manila envelope addressed to Tara, care of me. Inside lay a hospital invoice for the emergency visit. No insurance number, payment due on receipt. I walked it out to the porch, slid it into the box of her items, and sealed the lid with packing tape. Meanwhile, news of the neighborhood video reached local gossip sites. Comments poured in, strangers choosing sides, dissecting every frame. Tara's social accounts exploded with accusations. Her employer suspended her pending investigation after clients voiced concern under the post. Within an hour, she learned about it through her phone, and the breakdown was immediate. She crumpled onto the lawn, rocking, repeating my name as if it were a spell that could reverse time. The second patrol unit finally escorted them away, mother, daughter, and ex-lover loaded into separate vehicles to prevent another street brawl. Sirens stayed silent, yet the whole block watched. When the engines faded, I stepped onto the porch. I set my phone camera on timer, snapped a photo of the quiet street, the taped box left behind for courier pickup, and the newly installed deadbolt shining in the sun. Then I walked inside, bolted each lock, and placed my phone on the table. 45 missed calls remained on the screen. I took a screenshot and saved it as my new wallpaper. Not as a trophy, more as a reminder of how quickly truth multiplies once light hits it. I brewed fresh coffee, opened the kitchen window, and let the noise of normal Saturday traffic drift in. My pulse was steady. Every window was secure, every door reframed. Consequences were moving on their own now. They no longer needed my hand. A final ping sounded. One text from an unknown number appeared. A single sentence confirming Dylan's license had been revoked statewide. I archived it without response, closed the laptop, and stared at the blank wall where our engagement photo used to hang. Sunlight traced a clean rectangle around the absent frame. The house was quiet again. No whispers, no hidden keys, no secret showers. Just silence and the faint smell of fresh brass from the new locks. That was enough. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.